easier to verify that the agency is legitimate, that it's not a post office box where people don't answer their numbers. I mean, I think that all the agencies that are reputable, I mean, we being one, I mean, we are very guilty of sometimes not updating it as often as we should. We've placed in a position, and then maybe it takes us 3, 4, 5 days to remove it from our website, okay? But we don't put things that are unethical there, and I would just say that anybody that has a relationship with the agencies they're working with will know if the jobs are fake or not.
Well, I mean, yes and no, because I mean, I've had legitimate jobs on their website. People call me, Andrew, I've seen this job, or it's been taken off and you get reposted, and you're working with the dynamics of being privy to what the client wants. The applicants don't know. So a job might be on one moment, and a job gets filled. Well, Andrew, I put my resume forward before, and you told me it was filled, and now it's back there. And then it starts taking personally, and really it's about trusting in the agency.
But I had a legitimate job on my website that could be a legitimate job for 4 months. I mean, my clients are dragging their feet, they're taking their time, they're saying it's on hold, they're not ready.
Hurry up
It's not
and wait.
fake.
Hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait. But I think it's up to everybody to check their agencies.
What would you look for to see if an agency is legitimate? You mentioned the PO box. What other things?
Well, if it's physically possible, I don't visit them. I would set it like this.
How long have they been in business?
Right, how long have they been in business?
References from other applicants, possibly? An agency would be, I'd be glad to pass somebody's name on the like, okay, well, I face this person, I think this is a way to get a piece of mind.
Well, I think just to understand what the job is, the job description, what's expected, and might not, I think contract is a very tough word these days.
Yep, exactly.
So a letter of understanding, possibly, what is expected, and it's even a very tough thing.
But is it worth the paper it's written on anyway? Because when you're at that level, you know, you sign a confidentiality agreement, you work at Buckingham Palace and somebody does it, doesn't mean, so what is it? Are you not going to take a job if you don't have a contract? You know.
But you know what, if I was applying for a job and if my employer, even if I was using a reputable agency, my potential employer wasn't prepared to give me a letter of understanding, not a contract, but a letter of understanding of what my salary is, what my job description is, when will I have an annual review, etc., etc. It just has to be a one-page letter. If I couldn't get that out of them, I would fear, oh my God, what kind of employer is that? I don't know if I want to work for that person. Because it doesn't have to be with lawyers, but just a simple letter. Yeah.
Claudia, to kind of go with what you were talking about with job description, do you find that a lot of employers aren't willing to really give you a concrete job description?
I think they don't. You know, I'm not going to defend the employers, but oftentimes because things morph so much, that trying to get a job description is really important, and it's important. I will tell the client just to retain your staff so that they have an idea of what is expected. I think both sides need to know what's expected.
Perhaps Rachel defend people like kosher. Well, I mean, a number of ways how when I interview people, how do I make sure it's not crystal over? Through the interview process over the phone or in person, having come from the industry, there are things you know if somebody else knows beforehand. They say it's housekeeper. The housekeeper comes to interview with me. I have an iron door behind the door. Very laundry, get ironing. You know, most housekeepers don't like ironing. It just so happens I have a shirt you dry out. So put them to the fence. Before now, a number of things, but we at the estate manager level. I just think over time you interview so many people that there are things you can listen and recognize if somebody's just putting the wool over right. So, you know, clients who shop with, you know.
So that would be more about the skill of it. But let's say background checks and you're talking to felon if they have.
Oh, well, that's standard.
What's the process?
I mean, that's standard procedure for any. I do credit, criminal, driving.
There's a difference between a private private investigator and what they do and what people do online to check people out. So I mean, if there's estate managers looking to check, I would probably use a qualified private investigator. You can't get around it.
And what I found is most of my clients at the estate manager level, I do my own checks, but they do their own $1,500 background checks as well.
I mean, where they will check not only where you worked, who the neighbor is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's very thorough.
Right. Yeah.
Expand on this really quick, not to get off in a random direction, but at what point in the interview process do you start to do that background check?
I do it, we start references immediately. If we like the candidate and we think that we can place them, we start our reference check immediately. But we don't start anything that's going to cost us money. We don't spend money on background check until they've been interviewed and there's interest in the life.
Exactly.
And then we do.
Right.
The offers pending background figures.
And the reason being, I mean, and I learned probably before even I started my company, the reason why you don't do the background check ASAP is because, you know, you might not place that person for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. It becomes outdated. They might have done a drunk driving or whatever, so it's got to be updated.
It's not good for an applicant. Imagine, the applicant, who was applying to all 4 of our agencies, if we were doing credit checks and background checks on them forgetting the money issue that was caused the issue, it's actually not good for the applicant to have so many checks on them.
Could I add one thing?
Absolutely.
All of you who have been to a legitimate agency and you have been sent out and there's been interest, you've signed a document that says you also can own that document. So you can get a copy of what we have found out, and you should have that, and that would be a wonderful thing for your record. I don't want to go on. No, that's true.